What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So in today's video, we are going to address some major changes that Democrats are actually discussing. We're going to talk about the stimulus update, give you an update there. Want to address the inflation report that came out this morning. Yes, we are now at 7% inflation. Going to talk about student loan forgiveness, what's being said there, and a new bill that will be introduced today from Senator Bernie Sanders. So we're going to address a lot of stuff this morning, so let's get right into it. First off, all I ask is if you enjoy these daily uploads, do me a favor, go ahead, hit that like button, and also consider subscribing. Click that subscribe button so you never miss an update. Let's get into it. Here's what I can tell you. The CPI Data Report that came out this morning, we are now seeing that we are at 7% inflation, which is the highest we've been since 1982. We saw a 0.5% month-over-month increase. Food is up 7% on the year. Energy is up 29.3% on the year, and new and used vehicles are up 37.3% on the year. But month over month, we did see that beef and veal dropped by 2%. This is actually really good because for this past year, we've seen beef and veal increase by 18.6%. Milk is still up 1.3% month over month. Oranges and tangerines are up 8.9% month over month. And food for employee sites and schools has actually dropped by 7.9% month over month. Energy has dropped by 0.4% month over month. Fuel dropped by 3.4% as well. And here's a big one. Car and truck rentals, which is actually up about 36% on the year, it dropped by 5.3% last month. So what we're seeing is actually really good. We're seeing some industry inflation slowing, which is great. We're seeing some massive increases year over year, but they're dropping over the past month or so. And so what we need is we need to see more of this in order to get out of the 7% inflation rate. But with that being said, there's still a lot that has to go into this. So the hard thing with the December reading is that we were seeing a lot of holiday sales. So the expectation moving into February, which I know we're a month away, but when we do get our inflation report, the CPI data, in February for January, this is going to show better pricing. Okay, so just keep that in mind. We're still about a month away, but this is good news. This is good news for investors. This is good news for just most people in general because this is showing somewhat of a stabilization. But because if we saw this go to like 7.5, that would have been insane. But it's at 7%. We saw 0.2% jump from last month to this month. So it's not horrible, but we'll see where we go from here. But let's talk about where lawmakers could actually turn if we see inflation somewhat stabilize. Right now, lawmakers are looking at many different things. But one of the things that Democrats all believe at this time is that they must get the Build Back Better Act done. And here's the reason why. According to one Senate aide, they stated that many Senate Democrats feel that by not passing the Build Back Better Act in 2022, this is actually only going to hurt their chances of winning in the midterm elections. But this isn't happening for the reason that you're probably thinking. This aide says that too many Americans blame their situation on Democrats for dragging their feet, and not getting this passed again would actually show that nothing has changed and Democrats are still dragging their feet. So, here's the news that we are hearing as of this morning. This is interesting. Democrats say they don't plan on bringing a standalone bill to the floor. Multiple senior Democrats have stated that a standalone bill doesn't actually solve all the problems that American people face. And the other issue is that a standalone bill would put a priority on certain groups as opposed to the entire country. For instance, one of the things that we've heard discussed multiple times as a standalone bill is the child tax credit payments. But They say if the child tax credit payments were to pass, this would actually hurt Democrats' ratings with the elderly and those without children, because they're going to be looking at this bill like, hey, what about us? And I know you guys have mentioned this in the comments multiple times. And that's the issue, is Democrats are trying to look at the big picture and let's get some relief to this group and that group and them and here. And the problem is, if they leave out one specific group, which they have multiple times, and it's been the elderly and people on Social Security, if they leave these people out again, guess what? Those people are probably not going to keep voting for Democrats. So it's turning into a major issue, and this is one of the reasons why Democrats say we need to fight for more, because they are worried about the midterm elections. Now, we even heard from Representative Hakeem Jeffries, and this week he said, and I quote, "It is my hope and expectation that we are going to be able to arrive at an agreement with the Senate, including Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, around a Build Back Better Act." Now, right now, Democrats are looking to accomplish some of their goals by specific deadlines. We know that this coming Monday, on the, the 17th? Yeah, the 17th of January. This is the date that Democrats are hoping to hopefully at least vote on the filibuster reform. That's the goal or the expectation. But there are other things, and they're trying to go through different proposals right now just to figure out what kind of change they can ultimately make. We do know that lawmakers still have to agree on a government funding bill by February 18th. And the expectation is that Democrats are actually going to use the March 1st as a deadline for the Build Back Better Act. Here's the reason why. On March 1st, President Biden is going to deliver his State of the Union address. And having this agenda, according to experts, or according to multiple lawmakers as well, having his agenda pass before the State of the Union address is actually going to look really good in the media, but also for lawmakers seeking re-election. So, again, it comes down to the election. I know you don't want to hear that, but that's pretty much the nature of this game. Is everybody wants to get elected, everybody wants to get more donations, and so that's kind of the issue. We also know that Democrats are feeling even more pressure at this point to include student debt forgiveness. They need to get this done. President Biden has been pressed by lawmakers, and according to reports, even more so by the American people, who he told that he would forgive up to $10,000 in student loan debt. Now, Senator Bob Casey, just the other day, he had this to say, and I quote, "I think the administration needs to engage more with Congress on this because I think there's real concern." Now, the real concern comes from two sides. We got the side of the person holding the debt, the student or the ex-student, right? We have them. And there's a real need to get rid of this debt because it is holding some people back. But again, they signed up for this. It's just like if I can't afford my car payment, but I need my car because I got to get to work. Well, should Congress pass a bill that just wipes away all car payments? No, nobody's discussing that. And so that's an issue. And so again, I bring this up because this is what one person brought up is, well, lawmakers are saying that people had to go to college to get a better education to go and actually work. Makes sense. But at the same time, somebody buys a car to get to work. Wouldn't that kind of be the same thing? Now let me know down in the comment section below what you think of this. But again, I thought it was a very interesting kind of analogy and interesting way to picture this. And it kind of makes sense. Now, even Representative Jamal Bowman, he had this to say, and I quote, "If President Biden has the authority to pass student loan payments, he has the authority to cancel. And he ran on canceling at least $10,000. We're pushing him to completely cancel it, and that's what we hope he decides to do." So the push for student loan cancellation isn't going to stop anytime soon. And a few reports wonder, and again, I just want to throw this out there because it makes sense, these are the games that Nancy Pelosi played last year. I wouldn't put it past her to play more games like this again. But a few reports wonder if the Biden administration is considering a payment pause extension again after March 1st, and in potentially extending the payments until it gets closer to the midterm elections. Here's the reason why. If this happens, Democrats could come out and say, well, we're the ones that are extending this student loan pause. We're helping students. That's going to be a major boost for Democrats. And if Biden can come out right before the election, and let's say he cancels up to $10,000 in student debt, or even $5,000, whatever the number may be, this is going to be a major boost on top of that at this time. Just think about that. Think about what that's going to do. And I know some people say, well, I can't be bought. You're not going to buy my vote. Democrats just haven't been able to handle the country right now, and so maybe they're not fit to run the House and the Senate. President Biden's still going to be here. He's still going to be here for 2024. But what way does the House and Senate go? Are they going to be still controlled by Democrats, or are they going to be controlled by Republicans, or one and one? We don't know. Let's talk about what the news regarding Senator Bernie Sanders is, because as of right now, today actually, Senator Bernie Sanders wants to do what experts have been saying all along, and that is to provide N95 masks to Americans. Well, Senator Bernie Sanders, he wants to take it one step further and provide every single American with an N95. Well, according to experts, they say this is a waste of money. Senator Bernie Sanders today is going to introduce legislation to send an N95 mask to every single person in this country. But this isn't exactly needed. According to multiple reports, this isn't needed because PPP, personal protective equipment, is tax deductible. And therefore, you get this money back anyway. So experts are questioning, is this a misuse of funds, as millions of Americans don't wear a mask anyway? It's just like if we're going to go and provide a vaccine or a test to people. If they don't want the vaccine, they're not going to take it. If they don't want a test, they're not going to take it. If they don't wear a mask, they're not going to wear it. So, experts say that sending people a mask that might just throw it in the garbage is not the right move. One health expert says that delivering an N95 mask to every American could also cause supply chain issues, additional issues for nurses and doctors that truly need them. But the good news is that many health experts are already anticipating a huge drop in COVID cases. They say the US and the UK are poised for massive drops in the coming weeks, and experts believe that this could happen by the end of this month. We could see just a complete massive plummet, which would be great news. So, some are saying that what Senator Bernie Sanders is wanting to do, it makes sense, provide people with the best and safest mask, but at the same time, if they're not going to wear the mask anyway, why spend the money? Why do any of this when only certain people will want it? They say the best thing to do is to do exactly what the Biden administration has already done and just require your insurance company to cover the cost of your masks, of your tests, right? Which we can get 8 tests per person per month. So that's what they're saying right now, is that would be a better use of funds, is to just make sure your insurance company is the one that's paying for this. So we'll see what happens there. But what I can tell you is right now there's a lot of changes happening. Some Democrats are trying to tackle certain issues. Others don't want to tackle those issues, want to deal with the Build Back Better Act. But at the same time, we did get the inflation report, which is at 7%. This is actually going to show that, okay, inflation, yes, is going higher as expected, but at the same time, if things are starting to level off, we could potentially see it come back down to the 6% next month. The expectation is it still could go just a little bit higher before it finally decides to fall, but as long as we meet expectations, we should be perfectly fine. So we'll see what happens moving forward, but that is the update for today. If you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Consider subscribing, and I'll see you guys on the next one.